I'm all set. Thanks everybody for being here. This is like super cool. I really appreciate it. This is the Realm Round Table podcast, the first one. So I'm gonna do like a little intro here for us, and then we'll get started. If that's cool. So let me get hyped. I gotta like get hyped real quick. Okay, like give me a sec. All right. Welcome to the Realm Round Table podcast, guys. It's the Realm Round Table podcast. I'm your host, the Monty Mole, and I'm here with my co-host, Comp TV Lee. And I really want to appreciate and thank Gentle Giant for coming out tonight, man. The one and only Gentle Giant. He's an official streamer on the Realm Royale channel. What is he, like the leading kill leader on warriors across the world? Something like that?
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
He's Gentle Poggers, dude. I just appreciate you coming out. So, yeah, we're just stoked, man. This is our first episode tonight, and we got Gentle Giant, so I feel like it's all downhill from here. Like, how do you even go up from there? You know what I mean? Like, who do we get next? Like, who can we even get next? It's like the only person bigger than Gentle right now in the Realm scene is like LeBron or something. So,
LeBron James.
He's the only one bigger than Gentle Giant. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, the same size, same height.
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely don't got muscles like him though.
Dude, I don't know anybody who has shoulders like LeBron James. Maybe like not Dwayne Wade. Who's the other guy?
I know who you're talking about. I'm trying to remember his name as well.
Yeah. I can't remember.
He played for Magic for a while.
Yeah, he did. He was huge. I don't think he plays anymore. Does he play anymore? You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know you're talking about, but now that you're bringing it up, it's like the name just escapes.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's not Wade, but it's something. I can't remember.
I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about the NBA as cool
Dwight
as
Howard,
that
there
is.
you go.
Dwight Howard, thank you, Confine. Thank you. That's it. Dwight Howard. But have you seen that dude? That dude's shoulders, he's like a triangle. Like a legit, he's a triangle. So, anyway.
You like Realm. Realm likes you. This is
shoot.
a podcast sitting at a table.
Hold
Gotta
on.
have at least one awkward
table.
silence.
Let me turn that off.
Let us
I
see.
didn't even know that was on right now, guys. So let me turn that off real quick. Sorry, I gotta mute this. But we're here to talk about Realm Royale tonight, which should be super fun. Just yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So Gentle, why don't you start off by talking with us about like how you got into this? Like clearly you're like streaming right now, and I've been in your chat and I troll you all the time like with stupid stuff, but like you're clearly like have some success in this game. Having participated in 10Ks, playing Warrior and being dope at that, and then also just being a big streamer and a big personality in the scene. So, like, how'd you get involved in that?
When the game first came out, I grinded from day one, and I just kind of made a name for myself. I went around in other people's streams whenever I killed them or they killed me. I got to know people. I think that's the biggest thing is I got my name out there. Everyone kind of had at least heard of me. And then by the time the 10Ks came around, I kind of everyone knew about me. A lot of people knew about me. Mainly it was because of my sword. Everyone at that time is because I was like the sword master, I guess. Because I had a game where like MTash hosted me with like, I don't know, 100-something viewers. In that game, I won sword only with 11 kills. And that's kind of where I just kind of started getting a little more popular from there. And then I got invites to all the 10Ks and stuff. And then I started streaming for him, and here we are.
Who'd you play with in the 10Ks?
Collision.
Collision?
He doesn't play anymore.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was just duos, right? Did you guys do the squads?
Yeah, it was. Well, we did a few duos. I took second in the solos. There was only one solo tournament, and then there was a couple squads. I never won. The best I took was like second, like 3 times.
Oh, okay. I mean, second 3 times is still like pretty legit, though, dude. Like,
Consistency.
yeah, don't
There's
sell
no
yourself
fluke.
short.
There's no fluke there. That is pure skill.
Yeah. My time alive in game is like 3 minutes. So I think you're doing pretty good, bro. But yeah, I watched. That's actually how I got involved in this game to begin with. Was I saw actually Insom GG. Do you know Insom? I saw his stream. I found his stream through my cousin, who's like a big friend of his, and I saw them playing this game, and I was like, holy crap, this game looks cool. And somebody told me it was free, and I'm huge on free games. Like, I come from a League of Legends background, so I played World of Warcraft for a long time too. So I like the MMO, like MOBA style stuff. And when I switched to League of Legends, I was like, this is better because it's simple. And then when I switched to Realm Royale, I was like, holy crap, this is amazing because it's a shooter, but it's like the same thing where it's just like real simple UI, like real great combat, style shooter, which was really fun. And I prefer third-person shooters, which is like rare in the shooter scene, I think. So I was like super stoked to be like, wow, this is such a cool game. So I started like late July, and Lee, you started like at a similar time too, right?
Probably like a week or two before you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was around the same exact time. It was just before they got rid of classes, so I came in perfect time. Perfect time to watch the player base go, woo!
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was just crazy, though, because I don't know when that drop-off took place. Like, obviously, when it came out and they've said, like, hey, this game released, and we didn't think we were going to get the amount of people that we got. Like, the game came out, and it blew up, and they're like, we weren't prepared for this, Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of like a difficult thing for Hi-Rez to begin with, to say, hey, we developed this awesome game, but we weren't expecting like 100,000 people to just all of a sudden be playing it out of nowhere. So for them to be like, hey, like this was supposed to be an alpha, and then all of a sudden 100,000 people have like a taste, and that first impression is so important, so for them, and honestly, when you say alpha, people don't know what that means. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, this game is an alpha. Like everyone's like, what is that? Like, this is the game. Like, how dare you change it while it's an alpha? You know what I mean? So I do feel for Hi-Rez at a certain point when it's like everyone's like, bring back the old style of the game. Like, you guys wrecked it. And it's like, dude, that was alpha, man. Like, you got to treat it like that and approach it like that. And so for me, looking on the outside in, which is like League of Legends and so used to this constant change in the meta, like coming from that background, like the natural progression that this game has taken makes sense to me. And I'll say as a new player, I immediately felt the difference between old style. I played like 3 or 4 games on the old patch, and then they released the next patch. So into 6-man squads. So like I did feel the difference between 3 abilities and 2 abilities as a new player coming in saying, this is easier now for me to pick up, whereas all the people who had been in the 10Ks and had been grinding were all like, not sure if this is better. So I kind of am like jealous because I wish I experienced some of that, the early patches. So, what was the difference? Like, how did you feel a noticeable difference in that, Gentle, when they dropped that? Like, what was your gut reaction?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, initially the big thing when they removed classes, that was the biggest mistake ever. That's when the huge drop off of player base came. But once classes came back and we only had 2 abilities, or I guess we did only have 2 abilities once classes left. Yeah, it's a completely different game.
Yeah.
And I think there are things in this current version that are better than old version. But in my opinion, if they added 3 abilities back, oh my gosh, this game would be amazing.
Right now. Dude. Because you talked about that this last week, right? Like on stream, that was like you kind of posted. This last week has been huge in discussion about Realm Royale because obviously it's been a long time since we've seen content. They've been saying they've been focusing on console release and trying to get that nailed down. They're saying there's new stuff coming. They're excited, but it has been like a month and a half since we've seen anything. So like you posted a manifesto, and then I saw Idiot Mouse, another big streamer in the community, posted a big manifesto of changes that he wants to see, which is cool. Like there's a lot of people talking about like, hey, what should Hi-Rez be doing next? And so one of your opinions is you think they should bring back 3 abilities. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think the best thing about it, in my opinion, is it makes the game way more fast-paced.
Yeah.
Like imagine, like for those of you who didn't play, imagine having a leap and a charge, or having a concussion bomb that can knock you back and you can blink, or having dodge roll and withdraw. It creates so much more outplayability. It definitely, I mean, I think the reason why they went away from it was because it's more noob friendly with 2 abilities.
Yeah.
But with 3 abilities, like it's so much more competitive. So.
Yeah. And back then it was what, 2, was it 2 items were locked, right? So you could only have like 1 healing ability and then what, 2 movement abilities? Or could you swap between the movement and the offensive abilities?
Items were locked in the sense of you could only have your class stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
A warrior could have shield potion, healing potion, or charge.
Okay.
And you could have any one of the, and then you always had leap.
Yeah, that's
Couldn't
right.
get rid of your movement ability. Yeah.
Okay, because you were loaded in game with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I think that that's interesting that it's like, hey, like we're experiencing this very user-friendly version of the game right now, which, I mean, obviously it's important for them when they're releasing this on console to understand that it's like, hey, like they're trying to bring in people to play the game right now. So having a very user-friendly experience for people, especially people on console, you know, when they already had a somewhat developed PC base, I guess that's at least rational, like, you know, for people to understand, you know, hey, like that's a very valid approach. It may not benefit everybody the way they want it to, but I mean, it makes sense, sort of, right?
Yeah. No, I don't completely like say that's a dumb decision. You shouldn't have done that. Like, I understand why they did it.
Yeah,
I would prefer to have 3, but I understand why we only have 2.
yeah. And then, like, again, like the game's in its infancy still, you know, so like once they get this console launch out of here, hopefully, when I say out of here, I just mean like established, you know, we can move forward with like what you're talking about, like what's the best iteration of Realm Royale, because a lot of people have opinions on that and it looks different for everybody, but it, you know, it's interesting to discuss it, at least to say, well, like what could be the best iteration of Realm Royale and when is the best time to do that, you know, whether that's now or whether that's like 5 months from now or whether that's 2 months from now, you know, like you know, that, like, I'm curious to see like what this game's going to turn into. So, but Comp, you have any thoughts?
No, I was because, you know, Gentle, you brought up how the changes make sense to you. Were there any of the changes that you were actually excited about, or were you just trying to find the positive out of a situation that looked overwhelmingly negative?
I think a lot of it was trying to find the positive. But honestly, today's Realm feels... I know there's things that are unbalanced. There's some things that are extremely OP that the game has never had right now. Like the Poison Pistol, the Legendary Healing Shout, Exodia on Mage. Those things are busted. But I think once these things get fixed, which is happening very soon, the game's going to be amazingly balanced. And I think that's extremely important. And the game feels so much more smooth than it did back then.
Yeah.
So I think the game is very close to being in its best it's ever been.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people.
Nice. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say that like the patch after they took out classes was very balanced. Now that was like burst rifle. Wait, yeah, that was like burst rifle patch, right? They still had burst rifle and assault rifle. What else was there? They took out some other weapons too, didn't they? I'm trying to remember.
The auto rifle is already gone.
Yeah. Was it just those two?
I think it was burst rifle, assault rifle, submachine gun.
Yeah.
SMG.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the SMG. Oh god, that mean weapon, dude. Nobody thought that thing was good. Here I am rolling it. I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't feel bad. Die in 3 minutes. Anyway, so like the whole point of like today's episode is obviously talking about Realm Royale's esport potential, because you know what I mean, as conversation moves forward, we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. But one of the things that, you know, you said you like participated in the 10Ks. They had the 100K Keemstar tournaments, and like I've talked with you about this in your stream before about how like essentially the 100K tournaments, because there's such a huge price tag on it and because the game's in this sort of like marketing state still, it's sort of like a celebrity golf tournament. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, is that like a fair analogy where it's like, okay, like we're going to put a huge amount of money on this. We're going to put a huge amount of money on this and then bring in all these big streamers who may or may not have experience playing this game, you know, to participate so we can get our money back. I mean, we can get our marketing dollars out of this, right? Which, like, I mean, you can't blame them for doing that. And I don't know if that's high res or if that's like the guy at Keemstar, he's like a YouTuber or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if that's his call or his decision, apparently they're partnering with each other or something. But I don't know. I mean, in terms of how esport goes, that doesn't feel super competitive. You know, I'm sure the players playing are good, but is that like an actual true representation of an esport? You know?
Yeah. The 10Ks were definitely more competitive than the 100Ks.
Yeah.
Because they're actually the guys that play the game, that constantly play it, that know how the game's played. The second one, there was only 200K tournaments. The second 100K, I actually played in. A bunch of us 10K players played in because they didn't have Keemstar didn't get enough people,
Okay.
enough big streamers to play. So the second one was actually way more competitive because there was a lot of 10K players playing in it.
Yeah. So people have grinded the game and have actually invested time into the game and know the actual ins and outs and the meta and what's good, in the game. Like, and it was interesting because, the HRX 25K tournament, it's on YouTube. You can watch it now, or at least the finals. And there were a lot of professional gamers in there, and you could tell, like, hey, these guys, like, can shoot, like, mechanically, they're probably pretty well. They know how to, like, work with each other in terms of duos, and they know how to position themselves and hit their shots. But then you also saw people using a lot of bolt staffs, So, like, and I don't know what the intention was there, but I'll just say, like, looking back at stuff, I mean, I hope they bring the 10Ks back soon, which has been talked about. I don't know if you have an in on that or not. Like, we've heard, hey, like, we want to bring them back soon. But it would be cool, just, like, I'm just trying to take a look back at, like, Realm Royale's past in terms of esport, like, which lately has just been tournaments. You know what I mean? And I don't know personally if I would qualify tournaments as an esport. I mean, I think it's a competition. Whether or not, that fits into the whole, like, esport thing or not, is debatable. But just trying to analyze here, like, what has Realm Royale done well in the past and what has failed. Because there's a huge drama at HRX, obviously, with Kefri, which he's not here, so I don't want to, like, talk down to him. I don't know the context of that, but, you could see, like, the spectator mode at your, while you're playing in live time. So, and literally, like, if you've watched other BRs, like, have you guys watched other BR, like, tournaments, like, PUBG or something?
A few.
Yeah.
A few.
It's literally like 90%. 90% of it is the viewer map. So you see everyone's dots, like, you know what I mean? And, to be blunt, I think PUBG is, like, super boring to watch. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Like, it's so boring, right?
It's so slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super slow and campy is the other thing. Like, so boring to watch people just sitting and I don't know.
But I mean, you
I know
can't
that could
blame
be
them. They're there to win money, so they're gonna do what they gotta do. So.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And that's like an interesting take on this, because I've heard a lot of other people who have played this game and who are known to be really good at this game who are like, I have no future here, so I'm gonna go play a game I don't like.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, a good example is Bird. Like, and I've heard him say that on stream. Like, I'm gonna go play Black Ops because they have weekly tournaments where I can earn $2,000, a pop, playing Black Ops instead of play this game, even though I don't like Black Ops. So, I find that interesting as just like a pleb. Like this idea of, like, I'm a competitive gamer. I mean, I respect that because I'm a competitive person, but putting the whole, like, monetized value behind playing a game for that reason is just an interesting idea to me.
It's funny because after some of the initial tournaments, because especially like the 10Ks, I remember going to G Dolphin's chat after I'd heard of him, but I never really knew who he was, and I was just like, "Hey, I heard you're jumping back in," and he's like, "Yeah, those tournaments back in the day were a good source of income." So it's just kind of
really?
He was openly willing to say, like, the game was kind of whack, but he was totally into making money off of it, which is it's interesting because it's like, man, you almost wish, like, the people who are still grinding would be better than those people, but sometimes you just get really good gamers hopping in.
Yeah. I think that's interesting, though, because I'm just curious, like, obviously there's a lot of really good players right now in the game. I'm curious, like, if it takes off and when it takes off, what other kind of really good players we're going to get. Like, if there's going to be this huge mass, like, exodus of players coming to Realm Royale that are professionals because there's monetized value to it, like the 10Ks, for example. I mean, what do you guys think of that? Like, is that weird? Do you not like that, or is that a good thing?
Gentle needs some accountability. That's all I'm gonna say. I've tried sniping him. It doesn't work, guys.
Honestly, I think Hi-Rez's plan is to bring actual esports to this game. I think they want that with all of their games,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I think that's a good route, but it's also kind of scary at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, on this whole topic of like BR stuff, you know, like we have this loose outline here that I'm looking at, and it's like, what makes a good esport? You know, I mean, I don't know if you guys have opinions on that. I want to hear your thoughts before I share mine. But this idea of like, you know, esports, like what is an esport? What makes a good esport? You know, is it fun to watch? Is it fun to play? Does that matter? You know, like I don't know. Like I'm just curious about what you guys think about that. Like if any of you want to jump in.
Fun to play, fun to watch. I think if the game's somewhat popular at all, it's going to be at least somewhat fun to play, right?
Yeah.
But I think fun to watch is the scariest thing with BRs. Like we said earlier, PUBG is really boring to watch. It's a lot of camping, and I think that's something that can maybe not. You're never going to be able to completely get rid of camping, like in this realm. Let's say esports comes, we get tournaments, we get a league or whatever happens. You're never going to be able to get rid of camping. However, you can try to minimize that, and I think the way you minimize that is by how you do the scoring. Make kills weighted heavier. And
Yeah.
if you do that, you're going to get more viewers. If you get more viewers, you're going to get more players, and it just escalates from there.
And I mean, to be fair to like PUBG and well, no, not to be fair to PUBG, but to be fair to Realm Royale, like I think that Realm Royale, I mean, in terms of like from what I've seen in history, like their previous tournaments, they're way more fun to watch than PUBG. Like the way that they've done them has been exceptional, in my opinion. Like, you know, obviously the HRX debacle, which may or may not have been Hi-Rez's fault, you know, but like the casting is done well. Whoever's, you know, in control of the camera and the in-game like view like catches a lot of action. Like I feel like they've done well, you know, with that. So
I just think we need some better casters.
well, what was?
Don't even play the game.
I know, dude. Oh,
man.
I was watching it today, though. I was watching it today, and I was like, these guys don't even know what these abilities do, you know? Which I feel bad. Like they clearly are. What, they come from Paladins or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. They come from Paladins.
Yeah.
I mean, they can
But
hire me
kinda-
if they want. I'll cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you'd be excellent
That'd
at
be
it, man.
sick.
Like
Yeah.
having somebody that knows the meta of the game, you know, would be really good. Uh-oh.
Did
Hold-
it go a little robot?
Hold on, I think I lost. Did I lose the call? Hold on one second. You guys are frozen. I think I lost the call. Hold on, let me join.
Oof.
Oops. Let's see, are we there now? Look at your face on stream right now, though, Gentle. Look
So
at that.
happy.
Oh, dude, so happy. I might have to pull you guys in again. Let me see this here real quick.
Emote that.
Yeah, dude, definitely emote that. Let's see, we're on the call right now.
People are saying don't fix.
Don't fix. Yeah, this is perfect. Sorry, I think my Skype crashed here. One sec. Let me see if
Oh no, am I gonna lose my evil twin?
I wish it was like as simple as just like refreshing, like, but I think I have to bring you guys in again, which is gonna be bad. Here, one sec, guys. Technical difficulties. Hey Lee, maybe this is a good time for you to like talk through calling in, because we're talking about what makes an esport like fun to watch and what makes a good esport. So do you want to go through like people being able to call in? We'll take a couple callers.
Yeah, for sure. And correct me when I inevitably say something that's incorrect. But I have an instant invite link for the call-in topics channel of Monty's Discord, and the idea here is that you can post. It's got a slow mode enabled, so you can only put something in once, I think, every minute or so. But you can type in the questions that you want to ask on air, and if you have a mic, you can actually, if your question seems relevant to the whole chat and people upvote it, we can pull you into a separate mic check channel, make sure that your communications are working, and then we can pull you into the actual on-air Discord call so you can talk to Monty, myself, and most importantly, Gentle, directly during this during this podcast. So it's a really cool way of us gating some interesting topics once they come up, and even just sharing your own opinions on some of the stuff we're talking about to get a fresh take on, because there's a lot of other opinions. Maybe some people think that Realm absolutely needs to go back to their old way or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah,
But,
we want to talk about controversial stuff. So like when you call in, I mean, don't be like controversial, but when you call in, like make sure you have like, I think it's more fun if we talk about like, I think that old patch was the best patch, new patch sucks or something, like with your opinions. It's easier for us to discuss something that's an opinion as opposed to, well, what do you guys think about heirloom rifle or something, like, I don't know, but you guys know what I mean.
Are you still trying to get the Skype set up?
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not like pulling in the NDI right now. I'm going to jump out of Skype real quick and then I'll jump back in, but Lee, feel free to pull people down into Discord and we'll talk about it. I'll try and get your guys' cams back up.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Well, we're still on Discord, so they can still hear us in chat at least.
Yeah, they'll be able to hear you guys. We just don't have cams right now.
Sounds good. Yeah, and so again, just in the call-in topics channel of the Realm Roundtable section on Discord, you can type in a specific question, and the idea is if you see a question that someone posts or a topic that someone posts that you really like, go ahead and emote it so that we can see that. Do note that Monty spelled time to kill KTT.
Yes.
He's not dyslexic. It was late at night and I called him out for it multiple times.
Yeah. No, it's kill time total.
But you said yeah. Kill time, you said
yeah, it works. It works both ways, dude. Kill time total.
Gosh.
So, anyway, until we get some people in here, I don't know. What do you guys like? We can talk some more also about this new patch that's coming out tomorrow. Did you guys see that? Or it's not tomorrow, but sometime this week, right?
Yeah, I think it might even be tomorrow, but Giant might even know better.
Okay.
I don't.
You don't?
Today? I think it might be coming out today.
Is it out today?
Sick.
Actually, no, it is tomorrow. It is tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's sometime this week or whatever. They said something's coming out soon, so it's definitely soon. And it's server maintenance. Like I'm curious what that is because I've been getting insane amounts of server lag. Has anyone else been getting server lag lately?
Oh, and tons. My ping has been through the roof. And
Yeah.
I'm on NA and I have really fast internet, so.
Yeah.
My ping's been better.
Well,
Your
you
ping is
have
better?
pretty bad internet though, don't you?
Yeah, I'm usually at 94 ping, but I'm pretty sure they added other servers, like NA West and Central, and it like switches in between the three like every game or something like that.
Huh.
I think that's just my idea.
Well, honestly, I feel like this is kind of relevant also to the next part. Should developers bounce around pro play? That bullet, but also the mini patch notes is what they're calling it. They're pretty succinct. I'm curious what Gentle, what your thoughts were. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. What they're doing is it's nothing like too confusing, but I wonder if you think it's a sufficient mini patch. What are your feelings towards it so far?
I mean, it's a step in the right direction, I guess, but it's not even close to what needs to happen. Obviously, the Venom Pistol is getting a minor buff. I mean, nerf. Hopefully not a buff. It's only 5%. So I think their plans are to just slowly lower it until they get to that sweet spot because they don't want to nerf it until where it's unusable, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, my idea to fix the Venom Pistol was to just remove elements from the game. If the Venom Pistol didn't have fire, it wouldn't be OP.
Which seems smart. Like,
yeah.
Right? I mean, the only other thing with Venom Pistol right now, right, is that it's so easy to shoot. Like, the hitbox on it is massive. Like, I mean, it's bigger than any other weapon. Maybe not shotgun, right? But...
And the damage drop-off seems like almost
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. Like, Heirloom has bigger damage drop-off, and it's supposed to be like a mid to, short-range weapon. Like, I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't understand maths very well, but I feel like it should have been obvious. This is going to be insane strong,
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
They said they're fixing the goblin exploit, which is good.
Okay.
And what else was on there? I don't remember. I don't know if there's anything.
They were making runes slightly different to make them more distinguished from other loot.
Yeah, that's right.
Which seems like
they tease that in like a video or something, right? They tease that where everyone was like, "What is this?" And everyone's like, "That's a new rune skin." That they did like a new rune skin for it or whatever, right?
I must have seen that as well. I thought it was an old rune skin, but I guess it's the new one.
Yeah.
Well, there you go there.
So is Exodia still not being fixed?
Well, they didn't say that, which is crazy.
Oh my.
Yeah, it seemed like they were just, yeah.
I don't know how you don't fix something that makes you completely invincible.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and for those of you that are new and don't know what Exodia is, it's like the mage with the mage cooldown, right? Ice block and ghost walk together, the cooldowns overlap. So at legendary ghost walk and legendary ice block, you can literally be unkillable. So you take no damage in ice block and you heal up, and then you hit ghost walk and those cooldowns overlap, so nobody can target you or kill you. Because you can't do damage to someone in ghost walk, correct?
Right.
Okay.
They're invincible.
Yeah, but this is the weird part for me is that like this is why I kind of wish they would come out and explain some of this stuff to players, because I mean I like to theory craft. I like to think about how everything functions and what I can do and what I can't do. But you can take damage and withdraw, which is also an invisibility. So I've seen people predict. Well, I saw it on your stream. The hacker or whatever, I forget who it was. He hit you when you were withdrew as a hunter, right? With that hammer. You remember that impossible shot? Like he hit you with that, but you were invisible. But yet when you're invisible with Ghost Walk, you can't take any damage.
Well, Ghost Walk, you're not invisible. You're
Okay,
just
that's
invincible.
True. Okay. All right, I gotcha. Yeah, it's just like a speed boost or whatever. But it is weird because they give you like that sort of flash, like the flash gains like a unique skin or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah. Lee, do we have any questions you think you want to pull some people in?
Sure. I mean, there's been a couple. There's actually a really basic question. Confined Carnage and his buddy Sid have been just grinding wins because they're really good. They have really good aim and they're new to the game, so they're just winning constantly.
Yeah.
They were wondering, does the Grandmaster have its own logo? Because I got the impression it was supposed to, but it doesn't seem like there's a special Grandmaster logo.
Yeah, there's no Grandmaster in the game yet. It's just Masters.
Okay. So it's just kind of like if you're a Grandmaster, but yeah, but there's only one person in the waiting room.
Okay. Yeah, guys, if you have questions, jump in the waiting room so we can pull you down and check your mic real quick, okay? So if you have questions, make sure you're jumping into the waiting room there and we'll pull you in.
Yeah. I'll hop down 1 sec.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of disappointing. Like, I'm not going to lie. After seeing that, I was glad that they were like, hey, we're going to do, something. But, I mean, I'm glad that it's something. But I was hoping for just a little bit more than that. Like, 5% nerf to the Venom pistol is not enough. Like, in my opinion, I really don't think it's enough. Like,
no, it won't be.
Yeah. My personal
Axe received a slight nerf too.
Oh yeah, what is it? Like 3%?
3%.
Okay. Yeah. Which, like, in my mind, when I'm thinking of like Axe and Venom pistol, the way that I think about this is probably a little bit different than what other people think. Like if I'm thinking about balance, I'm thinking about how many shots does it take to kill somebody? Like, or how many abilities, right? And so, like, every weapon does different damage values. Some of them may be the same, but some of them are very different. And I think this will come into the discussion a little bit more as we talk about pro play and what that looks like. But I'm thinking, like, how many shots should it take, with weapons? Like, what would be the minimum amount? Because it obviously feels bad right now with how armor pots are in the game to just get blown apart, right?
Yeah.
And at a competitive level, like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, you land 2 shots and you're dead if you don't have armor pots. But that doesn't mean you're better than somebody. It means they don't have armor pots because maybe they're fighting right before you got there, which is part of BRs. Like, I understand that. But, if we're talking about esports, like, we want to create an environment for competition that shows off mechanical skill, decision making, strategy, that kind of stuff. So like, what in your opinion do you think would it be? Like, if we're talking about time to kill, how many shots or how many abilities landed would you want to see?
I mean, I think it's different for every weapon because there's multiple factors. There's how hard is the weapon to use. There's how fast is the refire rate. There's all these different things. So I think this 3% nerf on axe could actually be perfect. The reason why I say that is because currently, before that nerf, it takes 2 axes and a leap to kill somebody that's completely full health.
Yeah,
that's dumb. That's dumb.
Yeah.
So just this little minor nerf is going to make you take 3 axes. You have to hit 3 axes, which that might still seem very little, but you have one very thin projectile that you throw, and it has drop off. It's, in my opinion, it's one of the hardest weapons to actually like be efficient with in the game.
Yeah,
and the bow. So I think you should be rewarded for hitting those kind of weapons, but at the moment, I think it's too strong.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not super good with the axes, but when I do land them, it definitely feels like, I mean, if you're chunking people, like, what's the highest crit you've seen on an axe? Like, I mean, I guess if you have weapon damage, I know, what is it, like 1080? What is it? Because damage is the same from epic to legendary. The difference between epic and legendary is the fire elemental, right?
I think it's 100 different.
Is it 100 different? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And when you have a weapon, when you throw in the weapon damage rune, you're doing a lot of damage. Especially if you time your leap after your opponent has used their like movement ability.
Yeah.
So I think, but I think Giant's statement is what they were shooting for, which was, hey, at least it takes 1 more axe, which, depending on how many you're hitting, that could be very significant.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then the question comes like, but is the damage actually add up? Because when you start factoring in the runes and stuff, how does that feel? And I think the same argument actually applies to the venom pistol, right? Like, if the projectile is already doing short bursts of damage, is that percentage enough to really, I don't know. I guess they probably have done the math themselves, but so Gentle, would you say, especially with, because the axe thing, that's a very good point with it taking an extra axe. Are you saying that you think the main problem right now with the venom pistol is specifically the fire venom? Do you think the purple one's really not an issue?
I think the purple one's fine. I think, honestly, after this nerf, the purple one might even be weak. Like, I might take an heirloom over the purple. I might take a purple heirloom over purple poison pistol. I mean, we'll have to test it out, obviously, but because the fire also gets that 20% extra damage on your class. So, like, as a warrior, that 100 fire damage is actually 120. So it's the same on the venom pistol, and all 3 projectiles, when you're shooting that burst in the venom pistol, you're getting an extra 120 on each of those projectiles.
Interesting.
So just from the fire, you're getting what, 360 extra damage?
Wow.
And that's just fire.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I actually didn't even know that math, so that's brand new info to me.
Yeah.
And you can headshot with it.
Oh my gosh. See, now this is here's an interesting take, okay? Because, like, obviously we're talking about esports, and we're talking about balance and the important for balance, because I think a lot of these things that multiply, like, they have these multipliers, right? And really what I would want to do is I really want to go through at some point and check all the balance damage. So, like, on classes and non-classes. So find a class and a non-class thing and go through and see, like, what one hit does on a warrior with an axe, and then see what a on hit does base damage with a non-warrior with an axe. Okay. So you have purple axes, and you do that, whatever the difference is between those two, which is going to be 20% difference. Is it 20? I think it's 20. Yeah. So you'll have 20% difference between whatever that is, but what's that base damage? Okay. So say it's 800 with non-class, 860, and that's just a guess. So then whatever 20% of 860 is will be what it is on the warrior. Okay. But then you add in multipliers. Okay. So you have 15% for weapon damage rune. I don't know. Can you headshot with an axe?
No.
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 Okay, so you can't headshot with axes, which is good. Okay, but then you get what else? What else can you get with? Is it just weapon damage, or is there another one?
Yeah, damage is gonna be the only thing that increases your.
That's
output
right.
with
That's right,
max.
because you can't headshot. Whereas with like a sniper rifle or something else, you can headshot. But I want to go through and do that with all the abilities to see, hey, like what's the difference here? Because you're getting 15% for your class, and then you're getting 20%. Or no, and then you're getting another 20% for class and 15% for the rune, right? So you have all these multipliers in there, and then when you add fire elemental, you're getting another 300 damage, like you said. So like when you add all these multipliers that take it from a base of 800 something, all of a sudden now you're up to like what? Like 1400 damage?
Oh, with the axe?
Yeah.
The axe, you're only getting 120 from fire.
Oh, okay. So it's different depending on which weapon you're using, right?
Yeah, it depends on how many projectiles. So the poison pistol shoots 3 projectiles, so that fire is being procced 3 times.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. But like the point that I'm trying to get at it here is like if you look at the base damage and you do the math, you can easily factor out. So say you have 1500 health and then however many shots it's going to take all your armor off, because I feel like that's a fair place to start for now. To say if I'm looking at balancing this, I want to see like how many shots is it going to take for me to empty somebody. And right now, because there's a lack of armor pots, we're starting with, it's fair to assume people aren't going to have armor. So you're literally getting 2 shot. And there's a VOD that of Lee and I playing duos where Runeflame comes in as an assassin with a legendary sniper rifle. Okay, I'm a warrior, so I have extra 300 health. I'm full health. He one-shot chickens me with a sniper rifle, okay? So we're in this headshot. Now, granted, it was a phenomenal shot, so props are due where they're due. But it's still insane to think we're in a patch where it's literally one shot and you're chickened. And then what was funny is he did it again. He did it twice. So he
did it right to me.
Yeah, he headshot me, and then following that, he headshot Lee, and we both were insta-chickened at 100 health with 0 armor. So like. Yeah. We're in this realm where when you talk about that, and we're just plebs, right? But we're in this realm where when you talk about that at a professional level, those advantages are amplified tenfold, okay? Because you have players. Now, granted, Runeflame's probably like a really, really good player.
He's a good player.
Yeah. But the whole point is that when you start to talk about this as an esport and the balance, you have to think about like finding micro advantages that like in League of Legends, like there's literally like a 5% or 4% difference in win rate based on which side you get. So whether you're red side or blue side, there's a 5% or 4% difference in win rate, So like, and that's like a micro advantage that people go for at the esport level. And you have these guys grinding to find these micro changes they can make in their game to give them an advantage. So when you talk about Realm Royale and you're seeing all these multipliers, I think I have a little bit of concern for high res to say, what's the solution here for us if we're going to develop a sport or we're going to develop an esport of this game? What's the solution here with all these multipliers? Do you simplify the game some more? What do we do with that?
I think so. Part of that is, do people want a faster time to kill or a slower time to kill? My opinion, I like right in between.
Yeah.
Current realm is fast time to kill. Reason being is it's so hard to get armor.
Yeah.
So I think the way you fix this issue is you make it easier to get armor pots.
Yeah.
Or easier to get armor somehow. That needs to be fixed. But you have to be careful because there was a time in Realm where the time to kill was so long. I don't know if you guys remember that, but like your armor bar could literally fill up further than your health bar. I don't know if you guys played when that was a thing. And you would literally be sitting there fighting people for so long, and like the zone would end up just coming and killing you because you can't finish this fight. So I think there's a middle ground that needs to be found here, and I think the way to fix that is by making it easier to get armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I was in Mouse's stream earlier, and obviously Mouse is one of the I consider you and him to be the two like go-tos when I want to think of how to think through things. And he was bringing up that part of the significance of these little damage nerfs that they're giving is that you could also counteract them if people want to argue numbers with just people having more armor potions and having more effective armor potions. So I know a lot of us, and I was wondering if you were included in that, Gentle, we're kind of like, man, of all the things they could update this patch, you'd think adding a couple 100 points to an armor potion would be an easy one.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I sent a paper into high-res, obviously, and my ideas were to either make pots heal for 500, or make it so you can get 5 pots out of forge. I also had an idea to where 500 if you're standing still, 375 if you move, to kind of punish you if you do move while you heal, but you still have the option to. So I think something definitely needs to be done, but whatever that is, hopefully they do it correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have any calls, Lee?
We do. We have one. Just to reiterate, if anyone is in chat, the call-in topics, you don't have to use that channel just to ask text questions. The main thing there is if you're actually wanting to just jump in and chat with us with your own voice, feel free to present your topics there. If you want to just chat with us in the chat, we're definitely reading it. Sorry, there's a couple people who've mentioned if we're reading it. We are. We're just trying to get used to this balance between following like our loose, just the flow of the conversation with our loose outline. But if you have a question you want to ask via your voice, we have one dude up in here. Do we have time to pull him in here, Monty?
Yeah, bring him in.
All right, Chris, incoming.
Hey, Chris, welcome to the show, man. Are you there?
Chris?
Something's up with my Discord. I can't hear any of you guys.
Oh, disconnect from the channel and then we'll pull you back in.
The irony is, did he hear you say it?
I don't know if he did or not. Maybe not.
Maybe he did.
Okay. All right. Well, our first caller, Rip. Okay. So if anyone else wants to jump in, I'm not sure why he wouldn't be able to hear us, but try reconnecting. You heard on stream? Okay. If you want to try reconnecting, we can bring you back in again. So I think Lee's figuring this out. He's our wizard. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that for sure with the armor pot thing. Like, it just feels bad right now. Armor pots just feel bad. So to find them is hard. Even after they increase the drop rate, like, to find them is difficult. And maybe this is just high-res saying we want a shorter time to kill. I don't know. Like, and that's fair. Like, I think that's their game. I just wish they would come out and say that. If you're spending that much time playing this game and you're getting two-shot, is that what's intended? Is that what they want? And it doesn't feel like that should be the case. But then you also have, so you're getting two-shot by an assassin with Venom Pistol, or not with Venom Pistol, but with an assassin with a sniper rifle. But then you have warriors with Legendary Healing Shout and mages with Legendary Totem that are having these like 6-minute fights. So it's just a little confusing to see these two conflicting perspectives and such an imbalance in experience depending on which runes you have and which abilities you have, So, yeah.
I think that's actually a huge point that you kind of just brought up is RNG. This game, the amount of RNG this game has increased exponentially from when the game first came out. And I think the less amount of RNG you can have, the better the game is, in my opinion, because literally right now, it like 90% of your chances of winning are reliant on what gear you find. And I don't enjoy that.
Yeah. And that's not competitive either, right?
Right.
Agreed. I think that's the biggest thing to make, and it would, it might behoove the development team to consider. Monty, I know this is one of your big points. You might have already brought it up, but even considering creating different game modes for more repeatability. Honestly, just having some predictability with your loadout, because as of right now, they're intentionally making RNG so that you're not able to necessarily have the same loadout every game. They've mentioned that in their dev panel. They want to kind of switch it up. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things that's going to affect the esport, the ability of Realm to be played as an esport.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this RNG factor is huge, right? Because, so for example, like we said, if that's amplified tenfold, imagine a pro going up against another pro. So say they're the best at what they do. So say you get the best warrior versus the best hunter or something. Okay. But the warrior has gray weapons, and then the hunter has a legendary bow that popped out of the first chest that he got. Like,
that's game over.
No, that's like, there's no competition there. Like, it's like two headshots maybe if that, maybe he gets a rune out of the first chest too. Like, who in God's name knows that, because it's RNG, Like,
Right.
you can't have a competition with that kind of imbalance.
Yeah. And at some
so-
point, the outplayability that an individual might have when the opponent is closer to them in skill level,
Yeah.
there's not going to be as much of an opportunity to outplay, because if they're pretty close, the deciding factor then becomes what's their loadout.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, okay, like, I want to move on here. I'm sorry, guys, that we don't have cams. I don't know why the NDI source or whatever crashed or something, so I'm not sure what's going on here, but we'll just keep things moving on, and hopefully we can get this resolved for the next time. But the one thing that I do want to touch on before we move on, because I want to give Gentle a chance to talk about RealmCom, which is really important. The one idea, at least, this is just an idea, okay? So the one idea that I had, and I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, is about how they could solve this, like, this kind of dichotomy between new players coming into the game, having RNG, because RNG is fun. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, there are fun elements to RNG. Like, getting a legendary out of a first chest, if you've been playing the game for a long time, it feels, bad, dirty. It just feels dirty. But if you haven't been playing the game for a long time, it's exciting, right? Or getting a good forge. Like, those things are exciting. Having good fights, getting your first kill, making it to the top 5 in the final. When you're a new player, that's super exciting. I mean, I still get a little jittery when I make, a final fight, like, legit. So, like, that's fun. Like, when I go up against good players and I get good fights out of it, I get excited about that. So there are RNG elements that are, like, really good for new players, and it makes a fun game to play. Okay, but we're talking about a teeter-totter on this balancing scale, right? Like, how can they balance the game between new players, and how can they also balance the game between competitive players who are looking for a competitive experience and are maybe even interested in esports, or if they want to develop this into an esport, how can they create a game that offers that for, the best of both worlds? And this is just one idea that I had, and I don't know if it's a good one or not. I'm still kind of, like, thinking about it. This is just an opinion. But I think that if I had to lay out, like, a perfect esports scenario for Realm Royale, mine would be, I think the future is in squads. Okay. So, and squads and duos for sure. I think that's the future of this game as an esport.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's more depth there. I think there's more strategy there. I think there's more theory crafting there. They're talking about adding in talent trees, which would be huge. I think that adds another layer that's awesome. I think they need to fix balance first before they touch all that stuff. But I think that there's more depth to the game there. Sorry, were you going to say something?
No, keep going.
Okay. So there's, like, depth there, right? But then what I would do is I think I would make the game smaller. So instead of doing 100-man lobbies, this is the part where it gets a little sketchy. I think that in order for them to adequately tell stories and for them to adequately show off everyone's individual skill, they need to make it smaller. So I would want to see, and this is, like, I don't know what numbers here. This is all up in the air. I'm kind of making it up as I go. I would maybe like to see a lobby with 5 squad teams on a smaller map, all fighting over position in the map. Like, maybe they still keep this whole 6 games, 6 rotation, or maybe they do 10 games, because the games would obviously be quicker with 5-man squads. Like, it wouldn't take as long to do a game, like, 15, 20 minutes maybe. Because people are a little more safe when they're playing it for something. But on a smaller map, do 5 squads. It's easier to watch. You get that competitiveness. You could see some strategy if they get it balanced. It's still BR. You can still have forging. You can still have rezzing, depending on how large and small the map is. Like, what do you guys think of that? Do you think that would be a solution to do an alternate game mode as a more competitive thing? That's okay, and it's fair. Yeah, it's fair to disagree.
No.
Be honest. No, you don't like it?
My initial reaction is no. I think having a ton of different people actually makes it more exciting, in my opinion.
It's true. It loses its epicness a little bit, right?
Right. When the 10Ks were here, it was actually 80-man lobbies. It wasn't 100.
Okay.
And I thought it was pretty good. A good amount of people with the 80.
Yeah. It wasn't like too crammed.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want everybody just dying right away. People's favorite viewers don't want their favorite streamer to drop and die right away because of RNG.
Yeah,
exactly.
Got a better weapon than them. So having maybe a little bit less, I can agree with you.
Yeah.
But I think 5 squads, that's only 20 guys. I think that's a little bit too low in my opinion.
Yeah. It would be
I hate
interesting.
to.
Go
Oh,
ahead,
go
Lee.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, kind of to call back to a couple of things we were discussing earlier. We've talked about balance things, but there's also other dumb things that still happen, like getting stuck in a window or something that could be literally make it or break it play.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
And so little things like that also, I think, will go a long way. Once it's like we're no longer getting stuck on random invisible pieces on a staircase. Sometimes I've seen people actually lose games because of really dumb stuff like that. And that's almost like, I feel so bad because it has nothing to do with them getting outplayed. It has everything to do with the game not working like it's intended.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a side note, but I felt like people are feeling that still.
Oh yeah, that stuff definitely feels bad when you die because of that. Yeah. Well, I go ahead.
In the chat, Jared said third party would be unreal in a smaller map. That's actually a huge point.
That is true.
Once somebody started fighting, everyone's going to hear it. Everyone's going to be there, which could
Yeah.
create an epic fight, but it'd be crazy just third partying, So
Yeah, and Meave says, I think that would be bad if they do that. It's not CS:GO. I think that's a big point too. Like, the hard part here, and here's why I'm gonna try and defend my point a little bit. The hard part here with this is adequately representing the skill of players when you have so many people there. Like the one thing with CS:GO is it's not CS:GO. It is a BR. But I also think CS:GO has done something extremely well where it's like you have this mechanical skill that's showcased, and they have obviously CS:GO has a really short time to kill, but it's also one of the most popular esports out there. It's probably League of Legends and then CS:GO, and the way that they've been successful with that is you have two teams facing off against each other, which when you talk about sports and you talk about, good sports, like that's like the best narrative you can present. You know what I mean? So the thing that I go back and forth on is you're right, is it loses its epicness. So this is the hard part. This is the balance for Hi-Rez to come in here and figure this out and I think maybe it's a matter of like playing it. I want to play it first, right? Because if it's not fun, people aren't going to do it. But how can you maintain this level of this is still a BR, but at the same time, it's not like this giant cluster of people just landing. And how can you showcase that? Like, how can you present that in a way that's extremely fun? Because I watched the 25K today this afternoon, and I saw it before, but I watched it again today, and it was good and it was entertaining, but it wasn't like at the level of like League of Legends or CS:GO where it's like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's just an opinion. Like, that's my opinion. So, like, I hope that I'm wrong about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think doing between 60 and 80 people.
Yeah,
would probably be the best. I think it's kind of hard to get on those kind of level of esports because it is a BR.
Yeah,
there is RNG.
Yes,
so it's, I don't know. And hopefully they can get up to that level, but I just don't know how that can be accomplished.
Idiot Mouse had an interesting idea where he talked about a different mode, right? Like a different mode of the game where they removed legendaries from the map. Which I thought was interesting because it's like you're kind of doing a damage squash, right? So you have more outplayability there. If you're focusing on squads or you're focusing on duos, obviously people are going to be hitting their shots more often. So at a competitive level, the time to kill obviously is going to be a little bit lower because people are landing shots versus like plebs like, potatoes like myself. So I don't know, like that's an interesting idea. Maybe that's another solution too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Or even just finalizing, and I know it's coming. Of course, that's gonna make it harder for us who like getting owned by our favorite streamers to do so if they're ever,
true.
not playing on pub lobbies. But they still do it for fun. They'll admit to liking bopping some innocent console plebs every once in a while.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's gonna be huge as well because. Especially with the spectating that that they were able to do in HRX, it just felt so cool to be able to see the possibilities there. But
yes.
Some of that is just going to be the time. So I'm sure that the narrative will change a bit as time goes on, just naturally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a big one too. Just allowing the private lobbies and stuff like that. You can make your own competitive environment.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, that is interesting too. That's another good point. So, I mean, with that transition, Giant, do you want to talk some about RealmCom and like how that came about? And we'll use this kind of as a topic to close the discussion tonight.
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. It like literally, I was just playing one night, and somebody in my chat was like, "Hey, whoever wins this next game," because I do queue snipes on my stream. You know, I tell people to queue up at the same time as me, so we get
Yeah.
more competitive lobbies going. And somebody's like, "Whoever wins this game gets 1,000 bits." So we played, and then he said, "You know what? Make it a best of 3." So we did 2 more games, and then after that, the last game, he was like, "Why don't you guys start a tournament? Why don't you guys do a tournament this Saturday, and I'll put in $50." And then somebody else is like, "I'll put in $50." And then it all of a sudden became a thing of, why don't we just do this every single week? The community needs this competitive edge. The game has been so stale lately. People want something to grind for. People want something to showcase how good they are.
Yeah.
And so it literally, like 2 days after it became a thing, we did the first tournament, which is kind of a mess. We had 2 days to set everything up. But you know, we're getting better and better every week, and it's becoming pretty cool, and I think it's definitely going places.
And to be fair, you had like 160 people sign up in 2 days or something like that.
Yeah, well, it was like in a matter of hours. Like we opened up the signups, and then boom, it was full.
Yeah.
It's crazy. People want to compete.
It's insane. Like that's bonkers. Like that
Yeah.
that happened. That's crazy. Which is cool because that means that like, and this is a huge reason why I've stuck around, is obviously this community is amazing. Like the community is what has driven that, and a lot of times I think esports often do that, where they evolve themselves. You know what I mean? Like it comes out of a natural shift in the community, and they develop something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which when bots came into the meta, okay, I'm gonna call it a meta. I don't know, but when they came into the game, you know, good or bad, whatever everyone's opinion is on that, there was immediately this Q sniping is the new meta. You know what I mean? Like that's the solution. Like how do you get to play against your friends? You Q snipe. So I thought that was interesting that it's like no matter what high res is going to do, I think the community in and of itself is going to find a solution and find a way, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think that's cool. And obviously there's a need for that. How has it been going? Like obviously there's issues with the game right now that we talked about, Exodia, Poison Pistol, balance issues. How has it been going otherwise?
I mean, it's been going good. People enjoy it. People keep coming back. We've been taking a lot of we asked people to let us know what they think should happen to make the tournaments better. Every week we've changed the scoring system, and we think we're pretty close to finding something that is at least most fair for current Realm. You know, it has bots, so it's really hard to be competitive with bots in the game. And then we did a poll to see if people wanted to do duos or squads this next week, or we also did a poll where actually this week we are banning. This really sucks. We have to do this. I guess we're going to see how it feels once we do it. But Golden Healing Shout, Gold Venom Pistol, and Exodia are all banned this next
Wow.
week.
Wait, oh, is that what you guys are doing?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, so we'll see how it works. Everyone wanted it, so we were like, all right. We didn't really think it was 100%. It kind of could be a bad idea having to ban that many things in a game, but everyone wanted it, so we we're like, all right, we'll test it out. If it doesn't work well, we'll change things for next week. So we'll see how it goes.
And speaking of which, for those who don't know, is it hard to enter these tournaments, or is there some easy way for a pleb to join the RealmCom tourney?
Yeah, all you gotta do is get into the RealmCom Discord, which...
Do you want to post a link? I can permit you.
Yeah, I can get it real quick.
Okay. Wait, do I have a permit command? Am I a noob?
Don't put the at. Just do permit gentle_giant.
Oh, I'm a noob.
Don't at.
I see what you did there.
Oh, did that not work?
No, I guess that doesn't work.
Well,
oh wait, there it is. Oh, okay, nice.
Anyway, if you guys want to play in these community tournaments, it's open for everyone. Anyone who wants to play gets to play. It's just first come, first serve. So you get in that tournament, you get in that Discord. I mean, keep an eye on the announcements, and signups are always on Tuesdays, so tomorrow is sign up day. Just keep an eye on what time it'll be, and it's first come first serve. If you don't sign up in time, you can't play, unfortunately. But we want to keep it that way, because the 10Ks are like invite only. It's hard to get into that kind of stuff. It's hard to get into competitiveness in this game. So this one, if you just wake up early enough and sign up before everyone else, you get to play. So
what's awesome about this is I think it's kind of an avenue for people to get into, possibly to showcase themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't know how Hi-Rez approaches this, but obviously I'm sure they're aware of this. Like, you get 160 people sign up in hours. Like, they're going to pay attention to that, or at least I hope they would. So maybe this could be an avenue for that. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that's all I got, Lee. Do you got anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, obviously this was a dream come true. But there are also some people who have been waiting patiently. Maybe we can take 1 or 2 questions from the waiting room.
Yeah. Bring them in.
All right, 1 sec.
Yeah. I played in the first tournament that you guys had, and it was a ton of fun. I haven't played since then because my schedule hasn't allowed it, but I hope to join in a couple more.
Yeah, we're getting like a ton of like really good players starting to play the game again, and it's getting more and more competitive. It's pretty crazy. We did not think it would blow up to what it is.
Yeah.
We have like almost 1,000 members of the Discord, I think. Like,
that's insane.
Crazy.
That's insane. Do we got somebody, Lee?
Here we go, Mr. Iodon himself.
All right. What's up, Iodon? Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks. So do I start?
Yeah, go ahead. What's your hot take?
Do you think that there should be like more changes / additions in the updates, or maybe are the updates too slow?
Yeah. The main reason why they haven't been pumping out updates lately is because they're trying to get everything ready for console. And we can't just pump out updates for PC because it has to come out at the same time as console. They're on like the same, I forget what it's called, but they have to be updated at the same time. So that's why there hasn't been an update for a long time. But I'm guessing once we all get on the same level, once console gets released, they'll probably start doing updates a lot more often. So
because what is that approval process, like 3 weeks or something, right?
Yeah, something like that.
It's like a long process where it's like if they're gonna release updates, it's like they have to get approved by Microsoft for Xbox, and then they have to get approved by Sony for PS4, and then they can implement it, right? I don't know how that works, but I'm assuming it's something like that.
Yeah, it's something weird. It takes a while to get through.
Yeah. So, and what Gentle, what do you think would be like a good, like how often do you want to see content updates? You personally?
I'd like to see it probably every other week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we need to, like, you know how Fortnite, they do it like every single week they have new skins. I mean, that'd be cool. I'm a sucker for skins. I'll buy the skins. But
100%.
Yeah.
So if not every week, at least every other week, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree on that as well.
Yeah.
It was so funny because on your stream, Gentle, we were all watching a couple other streamers going through your list, and we were all just kind of laughing at some of like people's opinions, and it was good. It was good to see the different responses, but at the end of the day, it was like, honestly, like, give us more skins and more mounts, and we're happy. Like,
yeah,
that is content updates enough.
Yeah, and balance. If they would just balance,
balance.
like that is the big one, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So that's like interesting. Yeah, I'm on board with you, Gentle. I think you and I share similar perspectives on how this game should be run. Like, it was funny to hear some other thoughts, like from some other people, other streamers who were like wanting new classes like once a month. I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration. I don't want to put words in. Yeah, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but it was like new classes, like that's what content is, and it's like that's not necessarily true. Like, balance is content. If you're talking about shifting things to make the experience of the game different, obviously Loot Goblin and PvE updates are a cool way to do that. I like the idea of catapults and them doing that. I think they're on the right track. Like, I think introducing new weapons is an easy thing as long as they test it first. Like you said, skins, different game modes. I know they used to have deathmatch, stuff like that. Maybe a smaller map that would be interesting just to try out, and see what takes and what doesn't, you know.
Bring back deathmatch. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's content. Like, that's content. You don't have to make major changes, you know. I'm personally not against introducing new classes. Like, the more I think about it, I think it would be interesting. I just think it would have to be done slowly and make sure it's done well, you know.
Why not just add more things that need to get balanced?
Well, that's right. Like, but seriously, and like, you know how Riot handles stuff, right? Like, when they introduce a new champion, and it's OP, it's crap, and everyone plays it to climb the ladder, and it's banned 100%, you know, in the thing because they want to sell it. So, like, I'm scared of that a little bit when it comes to like meta shift. Is like, don't do that to this game. Like, please do not do that to this game. We're introducing things for the sake of shock value and for money. So,
right. Well, thanks, Iodon. Really appreciate your question.
Yep, thanks.
yeah, dude, thanks for being on here, man.
We have a very hungry Hops who wants to ask a question.
Oh, great.
No,
Does everyone agree to this?
I'm a little bit nervous about this, but
Might get Monka.
what's up?
Hey, Hops.
Hey, Hops, welcome to the show.
Hey y'all, it's Hops. First time on. Calling from San Francisco. It's hot.
What's up, dude?
So, I was in a squad with my best friend, Gentle Giant, until he kicked me out. And I was hoping he could give some advice for what russet potatoes like myself need to do to stop being kicked out of squads. And also, if you have a real opinion on the suck tube, I'll hang up and listen. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Hops.
Thanks, Hops.
Oh my gosh.
What a legend.
Oh my gosh. I don't have to actually answer that, do I?
No. I mean, I don't. What is the answer to that?
I don't get good, I guess.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Anybody else, Lee?
There's one more. Hold on one sec.
Okay.
Classic Hops.
Oh my gosh, dude, that was amazing. That was better than anything I could have ever invented or imagined.
Introducing Mr. Sid.
Sid, what's up,
Hey,
man?
Sid.
Welcome to the show.
What's going on, guys? My question's kind of complex, I would guess. So, regarding solos, you guys know how there's different classes, different abilities regarding solos. With Hunter and the lifesteal, that is kind of overpowered, in my opinion. My win rate in squad and duo is around 50%. And solo, it's my lowest at 23. Now, when that's Hunter is like all of that. When I play Assassin, which is my favorite class, my best class, I get dicked on because I like to drop in the most populated areas and I just get annihilated because no lifesteal. So
Yeah.
What's your guys' opinion on that? If they should change that, or if they should have a different type of setup for solos in regards to the class abilities, giving one class an advantage over others?
In my opinion, I've been saying all along Hunter is the best class. Reason being is they're the most consistent. They have the really early game. The lifesteal carries them not just through early game, throughout the whole game. It's extremely strong. But another reason why they're so strong is because they're forged. They can't forge anything bad. If they forge something, it's good.
I would agree with that.
So that's a huge reason why they're good. And I don't think you change Hunter. I think that's amazing. I think, why would you want to forge something bad? I think you change other classes. I think you make other classes up to that level.
Okay, yeah, I would see that being a viable option for sure.
Yeah, and I think as an assassin, your kill potential is still high.
Oh, definitely. My average kills are like 12.0 right now.
Right. Yeah. And like early game, if you can find an heirloom, that's gonna carry you through the early game. The only issue is like if you're going up against a hunter, you basically have to all in them because of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually my problem. A lot of my losses in solos, they're primarily early game or it's like 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost always against a hunter. I would say probably 90% of my losses in solos are against a hunter.
Yeah, hunters and warriors have really big advantage early game because of their stuff. So, I think it's hard. But look at it like this: late game, if you have your ideal loadout as an assassin, you're clapping any hunter's cheeks. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
if you've got a sniper and a venom pistol, GG's. Like,
yeah, 1000%.
So Confined and I actually go out of our way to hunt people if we hear a venom pistol. Like we don't care. We'll go out of our way and just smack them and steal it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's good, man.
Yeah, great point, Sid. Appreciate your question.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, dude.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Yep. All right, anything else, Lee? Do we got anybody else?
No, that wraps it up. We actually hit everyone. That was awesome.
Cool, man. Man, what a great first episode. I really appreciate Gentle. Thanks so much for coming on, dude.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Where can people find you? Do you want to like plug in your Twitch and your Twitter or something?
Sure. Let me plug in my Twitch real quick.
Okay.
And then they can find my
Exclamation
Twitter.
sub count.
Exclamation sub count.
All right. There's my Twitch if you guys want to check it out, and then you can find my Twitter through my stream. So
Yep. Twitch.tv/GentleGiant, and then on Twitter it's like GentleGiant_ or Gentle_Giant 7 or something, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you, Lee? Where can people find you?
CompTV Lee everywhere.
Everywhere. You're on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch.
Yes, but if you go to my YouTube, it'll be totally thrown off. Has nothing to do with gaming.
Oh, really?
It's 100% budget tech content. So.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's relevant if you're wanting to get into gaming. So.
Yes, if you're wanting to build PCs, Lee is your man to talk to. And then he's also a stellar streamer on Royale as well. So definitely check his content out. So
Too kind, Monty.
yeah, well, thank you everybody for being here tonight for our first episode. The next episode we're gonna do will be in January. So we're gonna wait until after holidays to do the next one. And I think the episode 2 we're gonna talk about how to get good at Royale. So we're gonna bring in another guest that's actually good at the game. His name is Idiot Mouse. I don't know, maybe we'll see. I haven't talked with him about it yet, but we're gonna bring in somebody who's good at the game. And that wasn't supposed to be a slam on you, Gentle. That was supposed to be a representation of my potato skills. But we'll bring in somebody who's gonna help us talk about like how to get good at Royale, and I'm gonna learn a lot as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. We'll announce that on Twitter, and we'll announce that on Reddit and on our own channels. So stay tuned. Yeah.
And VODs will be available as well. So if you miss it, you can always go back and watch the recording.
Yeah, we will have VODs up as well. So thanks everyone for being here. This is awesome. I want to respect everyone's time so we can end here.